Hey climbers, Brent here. Are you ready to write your best songs ever? Are you ready to take that next step in your songwriting journey? Well, I want to help you with that. Listening to the C.L.I.M.B podcast is a great way to get started on your songwriting journey and to learn the basics about the art, the craft, and the business of songwriting. But eventually, you're probably going to need the personal touch. You're probably going to need some one-on-one feedback, some advice, and some help reaching your songwriting goals. And that's what I want to help do for you. I want to help you write your best songs ever. And I want to help you learn the art, the craft, and the business of songwriting, of how to turn pro in your mind and in your behavior before you ever turn pro on paper. Before you ever have the awards to hang on the wall, I want to give you the mindsets and the skills to earn that stuff. And so we'll dive into your questions and I'll give you honest answers. And I can help repair your song if it's already written but has a couple bugs and has some opportunities to get better. Or we can help prepare your song if you have an idea, a notion, a title. We can do your own private song title challenge if you want. If you want to get ready for a co-write, if you have a meeting coming up and you want to get your stuff locked down where it's the best it can be, I'm happy to help you do that as well. You can see my calendar, get all the details, and actually book a session at songwritingpro.com/coaching. That is songwritingpro.com/coaching. Now, if you're still not sure if a coaching session with me is the right thing for you, let's listen to what this climber had to say about their session.
This review is for anyone who is on the fence about booking a session with Brent Baxter. I have done several one-on-one coaching sessions via Skype and also completed an online class that Brent hosted a few months ago. I have nothing but great things to say about both of these experiences. I am a physician and a hospital administrator. Music and songwriting are two of my favorite hobbies and have been for many years. But as a hobbyist and someone who spends a great deal of time at work and in my career, it can be difficult to concentrate on something completely unrelated, or for that matter, to devote the tremendous time and energy that is required to see decent results. Brent is a true professional who can quickly orient himself to what you want and what you need and be that perfect lyric writing partner that you otherwise would not be able to find. I tried writing with other amateurs online in the past, but it never went anywhere. Having the insight and experience of a professional, someone who has dedicated his career to the development of his craft, really makes a difference. If you do your part after he does his, I guarantee you will be happy that you spent the money and the time, and you will be hooked.
All right, welcome to another song title challenge where the question is, climbers, what would you write here? How would you do it? This is where climbers send in their song titles to info@daredevilproduction.com. Production is singular. There is no S. Put song title challenge in the subject line. You can send in as many as you like. And I bring them live to Brent on the podcast. He has no idea what I'm about to give him right now. We try to, in 15 minutes here, we try to pack in and mimic what happens in the first 15 minutes of a normal pro songwriting session where you're working with this title and then you're going to just try to play around with 4 or 5 or as many different conceptual ideas as you can come up with in 15 minutes to see if, before you start writing the lyrics, if there's another angle that you can approach it by. This is not a co-write in any way, shape, or form. You own 100% of the song. Use all of it. Use none of it. It's okay. We demand a ticket to the number one party.
That's right.
Anything you want to add to that, brother?
No, man, this is just hopefully entertain you and inspire you and motivate you to dig more deeply into your titles so you can get your best work. So we're just trying to set you up to win.
All right. Here we go. Are you ready?
I'm stretching. It's not working.
Out.
Let's do it. Yeah. Sip of coffee.
You don't want to pull a hammy. You don't want to pull a hammy.
Oh, I pulled a synapse. Oh.
All right. So this is from Cheryl's Anderson Lane.
All right.
And that is a name. Like I see Cheryl's Anderson Lane a lot. She's in the client community. So she says, I love listening to these episodes in particular. Keep it up, and gives us a sunglass emoji, which is cool. Here's the title. Twisted.
All right. Twisted. That's it.
Like Johnny.
Like we did last summer. All right. Oh man, a one-worder. Okay. These are kind of fun. So this is wide open. Okay. So I'm a country hammer. So most things look like country nails to me, but I also write CCM, Southern gospel, bluegrass, different
and
stuff.
this exercise is
a little bit of
good for anybody's genre, rock and roll, rap, whatever you're doing. If you got a cool title, there's a smart exercise. So
yeah,
this isn't
exactly.
just about country.
So this is just kind of where I tend to go with it, but there's so many, I mean, come on, you tell me there can't be a rock title called Twisted or a hip hop title Twisted.
There needs to be a rock title called Twisted and a hip hop title called Twisted. You should write 5 versions of this.
Exactly. So this is just kind of where I tend to go. And so that doesn't mean that's where your ideas will go. So it still works for any genre, but Twisted. Oh man, one of the first things I thought of for like a country thing. It's like like Bud Light has a seltzer now, and they're those twisted teas, I guess, drinks that are like alcoholic and stuff. So one thing I start thinking of, like, what are things that are twisted? If it's a kind of a bro country thing, you got that tea she was drinking was a little twisted, had some alcohol in it, whatever. You're at this party, and you got that, and we're all getting tangled up and twisted, kind of the making out thing. There's I don't know my neck when she was walking by, a little twisted, turning my head, checking her out, kind of thing. Halos, there's a band back in I think it was in Little Rock, Twisted Halo.
Twisted Sister.
A rock band when I was in Little Rock, like a local band, Twisted Halo, I think was their name. So I think of that. Like, it'd be kind of cool. She got a halo, but it's a little twisted. Kind of cool.
This is like a song, if you do this right, that can totally enter the pop culture lexicon, become like the catchphrase of the next 3 years.
Like, that's twisted.
That's twisted. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was just twisted. Like, it means you're loaded, right? Or it means like a million different things.
Right.
And it all works.
Exactly.
It's like a lingo thing. It's brilliant.
Yeah. It's open enough that things are a little twisted. I mean, you think about Twisted, like Twisted Sister. So one, you kind of have the lighter, funner thing of like, twisted tea, so there's a little alcohol in her sweet tea, and there's that shirt on the hickory limbs getting twisted, that kind of stuff. And think of twisting in the wind kind of thing, which is a bad thing. Somebody left you hanging. Goes back to the whole Old West, hanging the outlaw and they're twisted in the wind kind of thing. I also think of, things that just aren't right are twisted. Like that, that's a little sick. That's a little not quite playing with the full deck. It's a little twisted kind of thing, dark. And so there's those ways to do it as well. You got the guy he can't sleep at night, or the girl, whatever, and you're tossing and turning and your sheets are all twisted.
There's some visual stuff right there.
Yeah, exactly. And your heart feels all twisted up. It's not right. And I'm going to call you up. We're going to get back together again. And that's just twisted. This isn't healthy. This isn't good. We're not good for each other. So it's that kind of thing. You keep falling back in with each other.
That could be a positive thing, though, too. It could be like a looking over the fence, the grass is greener in the other yard thing, right? Mm-hmm. And then realizing that, you know what? You're a mess, but you're my mess. and I love that. And you're a little twisted. Like, you can say all the things that she does, and the way she thinks about things, which is twisted. And you can work that in. And now I'm twisted because I don't have you. Right. And so we need to get back together, back to your point.
Or even like, I'm a little twisted too. Good thing you're a little twist. I'm thinking of like twisting two things together. Because I think that's kind of what that twisted tea is. Like, you got the tea and you got the liquor or whatever in there. It's like,
what two things can you twist together? Now we got another million possibilities.
Exactly.
A little bit country and a little bit rock and roll
kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. It's like she's a little twisted,
She wears that beautiful sundress with the Van Halen t-shirt on the
exactly. Yeah.
Something like that.
And so that could be like these different things that she kind of is. That's a little twisted, but it got my attention. And now I'm getting a little twisted too, just tangled up in you, twisted and tangled up in you. And like, I'm just getting sucked into this thing where it's not a negative or a dark kind of thing, but he's just getting attracted to her, and he's getting all tangled up in her and infatuated with her and that kind of stuff. I'm getting a little twisted too.
I've seen you 5 other times, and I must have missed it. And now that I know you, I'm getting twisted.
Right. And then you can still play off all the other stuff, the sheets are twisted and all that stuff as well can go in there. That'd be a more positive way of like, that girl, she's a little bit off, but I kind of like it.
Twisted can be like certain degrees of darkness to where it's like fun, like a twisted sense of humor.
Exactly. Yeah. Like dark humor, or
like, of the two of us, I'm definitely more twisted than you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And go just the dark house. She must be twisted because this is how she's twisting the knife and just punishing you and just torturing, your ex or the girl that won't let you have her, but she toys with you. That kind of thing, which is a darker, so now your sheets are all twisted because you can't sleep and you're thinking about her. And yes, Johnny.
Lyrical moment.
Okay.
You're going to love this. But like twisted and twisted, like
Twist
roll
it?
off the tongue the same way.
Oh yeah.
Like take that knife and twist it, and
Exactly.
twist it.
Take that bottle top and twist it, twist off. So that could be a thing too, which is probably more like fun kind of bro thing.
Can you do a before and after thing? Play the before and after tenses. Like take that bottle top and twist it, and then now you twist it.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, and just like that bottle top, I'm twisted. Just like that, like the sheets, I'm twisted. Like that. There you go. T-shirt on the limbo, I'm twisted. You do all these things that are like twisted, kind of following the date or the different memories they've had. Or even things that speak to their date. The bottle tops, twist off tops, like that.
The lyric in that Guns N' Roses song, "I'm twisted."
Yeah,
they don't have a song called "Twisted," but every one of their lyrics is twisted.
It's twisted, like that song we listened to. Yeah, it was a little twist. That's a tongue twister. But as you go with that, so. Man, it's so wide open. There's so many ways you can do with this.
And twist what? What else can be twisted? A tree branch.
Yeah. Our communication. Like it's not working. Something got twisted and our lines got crossed, twisted in the communication. Like
crazy
we're not
straw.
Communicating clearly. Crazy straw. Yeah. Pretzel.
Yeah. Pretzel.
There you go. Let's see. So crazy bread. So there are all these things that can kind of follow them through the date. And just like that, I'm getting twisted over you, kind of like I'm getting all hung up on you. I'm getting infatuated. So that could be the thing about
definitely a tempo song. It's got to be
tempo and fun, or it could be like a mid groovy, but it's a fun thing. It's a feel good thing for sure. Yeah. Then you got the darkness of I can't get over you, and you're just twisting the knife. So that's darker.
Oh yeah, twisted, twist it, twisting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that knife, and just like that knife, like you and that knife in my back. This whole thing's twisted.
Tornado.
Twister. Mm-hmm. I mean, leaves the path of destruction.
Right. Well, like you speak in positive manner of your youngest is Hurricane Hazel. Hurricane Hazel. You know what I mean? So that could be like a force of nature.
I don't know how positive we talk about that, but it is.
I take it positively.
A while back, well, it just, it is what it is. A while back, my mom told me, she's like, I've just stopped praying that you and Emily will have strength and patience. I just started praying that you'll have a sense of humor. So
that's funny.
I'm like, yeah, that's
because strength and patience is out the window.
It's like, yeah, we're just gonna pray that you can laugh about it. Thanks. I call her Hurricane Hazel. So let's see here. I feel like there's a couple others that we could go with. I feel like we haven't dug real deep, or it's kind of just right there. So it's twisted. What else would be twisted? Twisting the knob on the radio dial. But that's just more things that are twisted. And kind of what I would suggest on this kind of thing is you just start making a list, brainstorming, not worried about rhymes, and just start listing your things that can be twisted, right? And that's how I'd do it if I was writing a country song, kind of that fun angle, kind of little bro-ish angle is like, what are all these things that can be twisted? And then how do I fit these into a story that it makes sense, but it's interesting, and it keeps hitting you with these like, oh, and they did another one. Oh, they did another one. Oh, that's fun. You're doing breadcrumbs all the way through, and that's fun. Kind of what are they going to do next? It's twisted, and it's a positive, feel good. Hey, girl, you got me twisted, right? And so it's positive. It's love. It feels good, and it's got all these pictures in there. So I think that would be a cool way to do it.
You can twist like an oven top. Turn the heat on, or you twist that thing on or off.
Yeah. So any sort of knob. Button dial,
the bread twisty tie.
Oh yeah. I pictured that too. I didn't know how to kind of say that, like a twist tie. I mean, it's what we call a twist tie, right? Or it's like it got twisted. What if it's something got twisted to the positive? I mean, things got twisted to the negative. Man, it's going all right, then everything it got twisted. What if it turned positive? Something that was negative, we turned positive.
Yeah, dude, you can set up lyrically. You can set it up like how you come from it's like a self-deprecating thing. You come from the point of view like it's a first date. And you're just prepared to hate her, right? Because of all your baggage, right? And if you can cleverly tie that together, and then it got twisted, and then it really got twisted, and where it really got twisted, because you're like, sort of, it's in your mind, right? And you're like,
you're doing a 180 on this, just kind of twisted around to a 180,
twisted around to this massively positive thing, but all the stuff is kind of negative in there, but it's your stuff, right? Yeah. And you're like, I don't know how to explain it. What I envisioned was, I remember one time with my ex, we're on a date and she had these boots that I looked at them, and it like midway through the date, and I just started laughing, and she's like, what are you laughing about? And I'm like, I just remembered that I fired a former girlfriend for those boots. Like, I mean, it was just like the straw in the camel's back kind of a thing where I was just like kind of ready to go. And when I saw those boots, I was like, okay, I'm out. Like, I don't like, it's the simplest thing, but I just noticed them now and I don't care. You know what I mean? Like it twisted the right way. Like some stuff like that.
It was never about the boots. Yeah.
It was never about the boots, but it was, right? Like at the same time. And I mean, enough that it made me laugh like, okay, that was the straw that broke the camel's back in a previous relationship.
That's funny.
And with you, I think it's adorable. How is that? That's so
How'd that get so twisted around?
That's twisted. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, twisted around too. That's interesting. I get all twisted around you. So the different ways
framing,
you
could
that.
do like a framing lyric, right? Where you take like that kind of a situation I just talked about with the boots, but something and do that a couple different times, right? Where there's the story that I tell people when I try to describe framing of, you know, the sales guy who like saved up forever. He wanted a Corvette, the brand new Corvette, got the picture on his desk, and every day he's working overtime. He's just crushing, saving. And it's this long story. And finally, the day he's going to go get that Corvette, he orders it. It's not on the lot. It comes 2 months later. Brent drives it off. He's driving up on Mulholland, and he sees this kid up in the distance, and he's driving up, and it looks like kind of far off, like this kid's got like a rock in his hand, and he's got his hand cocked.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, I don't know what's going on. You know, you just keep getting closer and closer. Well, sure enough, this kid just hauls off and chucks a rock at this guy's brand new Corvette that he just bought, that he's been saving for a year to get. Skips off the front paint job, off the roof, cracks his window, and this guy pulls the car over, and he's about to go nuclear, you know, and he's going, this kid like 15 years old, and he's going to choke him out right in the street. Gets out, face red, comes towards him, and he's freaking out like internally because this kid isn't like trying to run. Yeah. And he's like, what the hell is going on, you know? And the kid's like, my friends just drove off the road down the side on Mulholland Drive, and you can't see them. And I didn't know any other way to get your attention. Like I keep trying to wave down people and they won't stop. And so it's the only thing I could do. All of a sudden, complete frame job, right? Right. Completely now twisted around. About the car. Yeah. Yeah. So if you could cleverly set up some stuff like that, I don't know if that's too complex or not, but
yeah, I mean, that story, that's a whole lot. But if you do things, I'm just saying, hey, you know, we look at it this way, but there's another way of looking at it too, sometimes in that twisted or whatever.
Yeah. You call it chaos, we call it family.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. So that'd be more like, I could see the social commentary stuff too. You see it this way, you see it that way. It's all a little bit twisted, or how people can look at it the same thing and see it from completely different angles. Isn't that all twisted? Maybe we need to take our point of view and twist
politics
it.
Without
making depend on your lane, your genre, that kind of stuff. Yeah. You could really talk about, or social issues, you know. But
it didn't even have to be like a political song. But I mean, there's a really good example of where the same headline, if you read it over here, it's all about this, and if you read it over here, it's all about something completely different. You know, right? It's the same event, and it's all twisted up.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because it's kind of so, in a way, so obvious, and in a way so difficult to go, okay, which way do you really want to do this? What way is really compelling? And I haven't found one for me that seems really compelling. I found one that I think makes perfect sense for like a country fun song, corporate radio compliant, as Tim Hunzy would say. But I feel like there's some other stuff there we haven't quite gotten to yet. I would keep digging for that. And a lot of it depends, Cheryl's, on your own lane, what you do musically, what your own interests are, that sort of thing. If it is the social commentary of everything, how everything gets so twisted, and we need to take our point of view and twist it so we're thinking right, that could totally be your lane. Some people call them anything from, you're talking about somebody sneaking across a border, one person sees them as an invader, one person sees them as a desperate mom trying to get something better for her baby. You know, how this, it's the same person, how this all gets so twisted. That sort of thing. You talk about that stuff and just how our points of view get so twisted and you're angry at each other and that sort of thing. Maybe we just need to take eyes off this and twist it over to somewhere else. Yeah. So that could be a thing that's heavier, but it depends on your genre and who you're aiming at, obviously, on what you can do with that. Or it could be an interpersonal. Was that Phil Collins thing? I say black, you say white. You know, tell me it's day when I know this night. You put me through it all the time. Whatever. But we see things differently. We just see it twisted from the same situation. And so it could be more of an interpersonal thing that way of calling, like, we need to get on the same page here. We have something good here, but it's getting twisted.
I think there's a lot that we dug into. Literally, there's so many millions of ways you could go with it. This is where it becomes like artist specific. What do you want to talk about?
Exactly. Yeah, it's so wide
because
open.
We can put this on that tattoo on anything. This
Exactly.
can be an 80s rock tune. This can be an R&B tune. This can be a rap tune. This can be a country song, a traditional country song, a broke country song. This can be a ballad. This can be up-tempo. This can be a U2 song, social commentary song, an activist song. Like, oh my Atlanta, you could do so much. That's a really great title, I think.
It's like it's so open. You know, something with a twist of lime. Be a beach thing.
Take that lime and twist it. Yeah.
Exactly. Got that lime in, yeah.
Oh, that just happened.
You know, so many things. Or even like a cautionary tale. You're talking about the guy with the Corvette and stuff. And you could talk about somebody who's very self-centered, self-focused. That's all they see is themselves and that Corvette and all this people, the bodies they stepped over to make the money to buy that Corvette. And dude, that's just twisted. And drinking and driving and ends up twisted around a tree. Or whatever. But 5 minutes before that, somebody saw that car driving by and going, I want to be that guy. How twisted is that too?
Oh,
and so all these different things about like, there's so many ways you could go with that. It's like dealer's choice. Whatever works for you, Cheryl's.
Good job, Cheryl's.
Nice title. Send in more.
Cheryl's wants to reach out to you and maybe do some one-on-one work with this, or maybe she's got a title that's even better than that, but she don't want to share publicly.
Exactly.
But she wants to go through this exercise. What can she do?
That's right. I do provide one-on-one private songwriter consulting. So we can prepare your song, which would be like people ask me to do song title challenges with them and just, hey, I got this title. I'm not sure what to do with it. And we just bounce stuff around. Or they bring in songs that are in maybe finished, maybe not finished, and we repair your song. So we can prepare it, we can repair it, ask questions about the music business. Let me give you some answers about that. Some of the real deal, and you can get all the details. You can see my calendar and you can book an appointment at songwritingpro.com/coaching. That is songwritingpro.com/coaching, and I'll be glad to help you out.
All right, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of another killer climb episode of Song Title Challenge. Once again, send your titles in to info@daredevilproduction.com. Do not put them in the client community, please, because guess what, Brent? We'll see them there. We want this to be like spur of the moment kind of a thing. That's what keeps it cool. So send them to info@daredevilproduction.com. Production is singular. There is no S. Put song title challenge in the subject line. It'll get in the right folder because I just take them and immediately put them in a folder and I don't even look at them until it's time to do the show. And then I go searching through what we got and try to find something that I think you can run with. That's it, guys. So, hey, this podcast exists because we want you to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.
Song Title Challenge.